Is there a divine hand guiding us along the way? Or is life simply a series of random events that confront us and call for a decision on our part? Hello, I'm Stuart Baskin, pastor of First Presbyterian Church of Tyler, Texas, and this is your daily devotional for Wednesday, August 17th, 2022. This week I'm talking about some of the paradoxes and polarities we encounter in the Christian faith. Yesterday we examined the tension many feel between predestination and free will, a situation I call a false dichotomy. In the end, it is neither a paradox, a true polarity, or even a dilemma. Today I want to take on another apparent dichotomy. This one is perhaps summarized best by that great American philosopher Forrest Gump. In a scene near the end of the movie Forrest Gump, Forrest is standing at the grave of his late wife and best friend, Jenny. He speaks to her grave, and as he does, he poses a question that neatly encapsulates the tension between what he calls destiny, not predestination, but our heading in life, and sheer chance. He says, "I don't know if Mama was right, or if it's Lieutenant Dan. I don't know if we each have a destiny, or if we're all just floating around accidental-like on a breeze. But I think maybe it's both happening at the same time." This is actually a pretty nice summary of the relationship between the theological notions of providence and contingency. Providence is the idea that God plays an active role in human history, sometimes guiding us, sometimes nudging us, sometimes taking human actions and using them to accomplish God's purposes in the world. This is not to imply that God constantly intervenes in the world or treats human beings as puppets on a string, but in ways known only to God, God brings about God's own purposes in the midst of a broken and sinful world. This is actually what I think people are really talking about when they talk about predestination. But it is not our understanding about our ultimate destination. This is about God's activity within human history. This idea is peppered throughout our confessional heritage, from the Scots Confession to the Heidelberg Catechism to the Second Helvetic Confession to the Westminster Standards and even the Confession of 1967. The Scots Confession says it well. "We confess and acknowledge one God alone, by whom we confess and believe all things in heaven and on earth, visible and invisible, to have been created, to be retained in their being, and to be ruled and guided by his inscrutable providence, for such ends as his eternal wisdom, goodness, and justice have appointed, and to the manifestation of his own glory." So, we believe in a God who is actively involved in human history, but whose actions are hidden and inscrutable, only truly visible in hindsight. At the same time, we leave room for what you might think of as accidents, coincidences, and happenstances. We call these the contingencies of life. That means we leave room for those moments in life, both good and bad, when chance things happen that are neither caused by God nor by any other human design, nor, for that matter, by any other power. Some people choose to call this luck, though luck is not a Christian notion. When good things happen, we call it serendipity. And when bad things happen, we call it tragedy. But either way, there are things that happen in human history by pure chance. The tension between providence and contingency, then, is clear. Things that happen to us in this life that can at one level seem totally random may turn out to be the result of God's guiding hand. On the other hand, things can happen that seem too perfect to be mere happenstance. But the truth is, we don't get to peek behind the curtain, as it were, to see what things God designs and what things are truly chance. This is a true polarity, a tension between total control by God over everything and every human action, and complete randomness, where everything that comes at us in life, though it seems scripted, is nothing but a series of random events to which we simply react. Life in this sense is a series of interconnected events dictated by no higher power. So which is it? As usual, trying to resolve the tension between these two competing models fails to account for the complexity of life in God's world. Or, as Forrest Gump put it so wisely, I think maybe it's both happening at the same time. Tomorrow, a matter of conscience. But for now, may God continue to bless you and keep you in all that you do this day and in all the days ahead.